MF Doom is one of my favorite artists, and so today I'm going to celebrate the 20th anniversary of his album Food. And on this edition, we get a remix of One Beer by Madlib. We also get remixes of Hoe Cakes by Ant and Jake One. And there are also a set of interviews where Doom talks about not only how he made this album, but how he went from being Zev Love X to Doom. Before he was Doom, he was Zev Love X, and he was in a group with his brother DJ Subrock called KMD. Go check it out. I remember them vividly because I love that song Peach Fuzz. I remember me and my sister just used to go up for the video, and I have a distinct memory of like running to go catch it when it would come on Rap City. So it is so hard to believe that it has been like 20 years since this album has been released. I was in my early 20s when this album dropped, and I remember I found Doom's music through Adult Swim. And if you remember, if you were a watcher of Adult Swim back then, they would have like these commercials that would play in the middle. Matter of fact, you all should know because we had the Adult Swim challenge. So that was really real. Instead of that Keep Running Away song, it would be like a beat from off of Mad Villainy. So the one that I would hear the most was Accordion, and that would play during the commercial breaks. And I remember being so entranced by that beat that led me to, you know, ask around where that came from, and someone was like, oh, you know, it's Madlib and Doom, they got a project called Mad Villainy. And on Mad Villainy, I really fell in love with Doom's commentary on the world around him. There were a lot of songs in that album that really made me examine the world, especially on the song Strange Ways. There are two verses in particular that like really stood out to me on that song. The first one is, it costs billions to blast humans in half, into calves and arms. Only one side is allowed to have bombs. And this album was dropped like right at the time where there was like a lot of heavy anti-Muslim sentiment in the United States, and this was the first time that I really looked at like what was going around me from a different lens, and I really started to think about how much it costs to fund a war, how much some of these weapons and stuff cost, how much the United States spends on weapons, and like you say, to blast other people in half and to ensure that they don't have weapons too. And it gets to start thinking about like who has the right to defend themselves, and so on and so forth. But it was like that makes you think. So I don't know if it was Doom's intention, but I believe that this album should be listened to like in order, no shuffling. So let's get into some of my favorite songs from off of this album. Rap is one of my favorite songs from off of this album. The beat is crazy, and that little Godzilla sound in the background just gives like the whole tone of this song, like Doom is just coming to like crush some buildings. And my favorite bar on this song is, beef rap could lead to getting teeth capped, or a wreath for mom dudes on some grief crap. I suggest you change your diet. It could lead to high blood pressure if you fry it, or even a stroke, heart attack, or disease. Ain't no starting back when them arteries start to squeeze. I love the double meaning behind this, because one part of it is the ramifications of like if you actually having a fried and unhealthy diet, you know, all them things, heart attack, heart disease. But at the same time, frying that beef you have with somebody else can also lead to your ends. I like how he put that. Again, I love the way that Doom gives commentary to the world and puts like his own spin on things. Another song that I like from off this album is Hoe Cakes. Now, I could be wrong. My interpretation of this song is about him and a 304 that he gets with, and they end up like lining a man up while he's down in All-Star Weekend to ball. He pulled up with the U-Haul, and I've love the My Sweet Love sample combined with like the beatboxing. It gave this song like an 80s feel, but without feeling dated. Because remember, this dropped in 2004, but that beatbox was like a perfect touch to this song. One Beer is one of the most popular and most recognized songs from this album. First and foremost, y'all know I am a beats first, lyrics second type of listener. A beat for this song, it just feels so damn good. Everything from like the drums to the vocal that low-key sounds like a harmonica when it's stretched out. I love everything about it. My favorite line on this song is, he plots shows like robberies, in and out, 1, 2, 3, nobody's pleased, run the cash and you won't get a wet sweatshirt. The mic is the shotty, nobody move, nobody get hurt. Listen, again, another type of metaphor, and he carried that out throughout the rest of the verse. A whole string of jobs, now we on tour. I love this song. All right, so Deep Fried Frenz, it's like my own personal anthem on friendship. And on this song, you know, Doom really goes through the different types of friendship, how some of these friendships could be your downfall, and how some of these friendships have impacted how he moves. One of my favorite lines from off this song is, "You can either ignore this advice or take it from me. Be too nice and people take you for a dummy. So nowadays he ain't so friendly." And listen, he ain't never lied, because it seemed like when you kind or nice, motherfuckers just feel like you got sucker written across your forehead, and then you gotta really like pop out and show that you not. I also like when he points out the dictionary definition meaning of friends, and he says a person one likes to socialize with, sympathize or helper, and that's about the size of it. Most of these attributes are one-sided, and that's something that got me thinking about it. And I don't think that that's like all friendship has to be that way, but you know, just make sure that that's not what you got going. There's also 3 other songs, Poo-Putt, Platter, Fillet-o-Rapper, Gumbo, and Fig Leaf Bicarbonate. And those are basically like clips, different like television and cartoon clips with doom beats behind them. And I find those just as valuable, and I love those just as much on this album. This is absolutely my type of carrying on, because sometimes I just want the beats, don't need the rhymes per se. Even the beat for Gumbo, it's set over a news clip of a woman talking about using, you know, edible wrappers in the future. And this can also be like a metaphor of like, you know, how Doom eats these wrappers. But I wanted to say, when this first came out, that clip about like actual edible wrappers for your food seemed like such a novel and long way away's idea, but I believe I've seen recently where they said like that's going to be a thing there, or they already have that developed. Wrappers are made with algae, and that's what makes them edible. So I don't know, has anybody had an edible food with an edible wrapper yet? I also like Fig Leaf Bicarbonate. Now, in the way that this is set, I mean, if you're listening to the clip, the man in the clip is eating all of this food, and they ask, you know, how do you, you know, stay regular, if as it were, when you're eating this much? And he says, you know, I mix me up a combination of Fig Leaf Bicarbonate, and the beat comes in, and it almost feels like we're entering a tornado, because, you know, bicarbonate usually, you know, cleans you out. So it feels like we're entering, I guess, the tornado of someone's stomach. I really love how the beat has like these horns on it, and it gives the beat like this real gladiator feel. I'd love to see somebody marching band do this. Now, Rap Snitches is another song I like to think of as Doom's commentary on the world. And this song features Mr. Fantastic. And one of the greatest mysteries when I sit and think about it is none of us have ever seen, like physically seen, Mr. Fantastic. So this caused me to go on a rabbit hole online to try to find out who Mr. Fantastic is. And there are 2 theories that I found. The first theory is that he's actually this guy that used to rap with Doom back in the day named Rodin. And they said that it's Rodin's voice, but it's been pitched down. But I heard that there's not too much truth to that. And I think somebody actually did like some pitching. That's how deep this went. And it didn't quite sound like Mr. Fantastic. So that theory, or that myth, I believe has been debunked. And the other theory that I heard is that it is actually that Mr. Fantastic is actually Count Bass D, who was on this album. He was featured on Potholders. In 2018, Count Bass D took to Instagram to let people know that he was not Mr. Fantastic. He knows who he is. That was all the information that he was really willing to share. My personal opinion, just like listening to the sounds, I'm kind of it's the Count Bass D. But sometimes people just want their privacy and don't want to be known, or, you know, whatever the case may be, whatever the reason is. But that's like one of hip-hop's greatest mysteries to me. Who is Mr. Fantastic? I love the subject matter of this song. It's about rappers basically snitching on themselves through music. But this honestly could apply today. You just switch out music with social media, because, honey, some of y'all, nobody needs to snitch. You posted it. Put it right up there for us to see in real time. Love the hook on this song too. Rap snitches telling all their business, sitting in court and be their own star witness. Do you see the perpetrator? Yeah, I'm right here. 20th anniversary of the album has remix versions of One Beer and Hoe Cakes. And one of the remix that I'm really feeling is the Hoe Cakes remix by Jake One. Drums and the bass on this are just crazy. And I haven't given it the card test yet, but I am absolutely sure that it is a win. There are also some interviews included in the 20th anniversary edition. One that really stuck out to me was when Doom talked about his evolution from being Zevlov X to Doom. Basically, he reemerged in 1997 after a 2-year hiatus. And around this time, he said he just wanted to focus on like how could he re-enter the rap world in the simplest way possible. And he said he just wanted to really focus, you know, on simplicity and just wanted it to be like basically the essence of rap, which is just the beat and the microphone. And he drew his inspiration by this style by patterning it after, you know, rhyming in a cipher, which, you know, when you rhyme in a cipher, there's no hooks, bridges, none of that, no real song structure. It's just giving straight heat. It's you, the beat, and the crowd. The crowd is giving you the ad libs. So he just wanted to really bring it back to that. And I can feel that. And I'm happy I heard that because I could never quite put my finger on what it was that I love so much about Doom's music or what pulled me in. I like storytelling, but I also like this style of rapping too, where it's just simple, just you and the beat. Another one of the interviews that really caught my eye was where he talks about doing production versus working with producers. And I don't know if I've already said this yet, but is also a producer. So he reflected on what it felt like to work with the producer like on Mad Villainy versus this project where he was doing all the beats. So I really wanted to hear what Doom's experience was when he worked with other producers, for example, like Madlib, because I would always wonder, like, is that like having two chefs in the kitchen? And surprisingly, Doom says that he likes both. Says sometimes there's a time to sit back when you're just the artist because you don't have to worry about all the producing things, because he said sometimes it can get really integrated because you may have the lyrics but now you got to build the beat, or sometimes you have the beat and now you got to get the lyrics to go around it, whereas if somebody else is doing the production you can kind of just rest and focus on your verse. However, he said sometimes the integration is a good thing. All right, Saints and Aints, this is the final look, and that concludes our discussion on MF Doom's 20th anniversary edition of Food. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you have, don't forget to subscribe and turn on those notifications. That's my time, Saints and Aints. Till next time, love you. Bye.